Today we're diving into, well, I'm sure you've heard of it, Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki.
Oh, a classic.
Yeah, it's been around forever, sold millions of copies.
Right.
But we're going deeper than just the surface level advice today. We're going to extract some golden nuggets, some real wisdom that you can actually use.
Oh, yeah, stuff you can use today.
Like starting today, yeah, to change your thinking about money. You know? Shift that mindset.
It's all about the mindset.
It really is. Now, I know a lot of you are probably familiar with the basic premise of the book, but just to recap.
Refresh our memories.
Right, exactly. So Kiyosaki had these two dads in his life, his biological father, the poor dad, and his best friend's father, the rich dad.
Two very different perspectives on money, huh?
Completely different approaches, both hardworking guys, but, well, the results speak for themselves.
It really makes you think about how you approach money.
It does. So his pool dad, he believed in working for money, got a good education, had a steady government job.
The classic path, right? What we're all told to do.
Yeah, the safe route. But he always struggled financially.
And the rich dad.
The rich dad, on the other hand, he didn't even finish high school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but he understood how money works, and he built a financial empire, real estate, businesses, the whole thing.
It's like that saying, work smarter, not harder or something.
Yeah. And Kiyosaki uses this contrast, these two dads, to make a powerful point. It's not about how much money you earn.
It's about how you manage it.
Exactly. He says financial struggle isn't always about low income. It's often about mindset and how you handle the money you do have.
Mindset is everything, I think.
It really is. Now, this is where that story about the richest businessman of 1923 really blows my mind.
Oh, yeah, what a story. Tragic, though.
It is a bit tragic, yeah. So these guys, they were at the top, heads of huge companies.
Captains of industry, we'd call them now.
Yeah. Wall Street giants, you name it. But get this, within a few decades.
A lot of them lost everything.
Bankrupt, mental breakdowns, some even,
Yeah, it's a reminder that money doesn't solve everything.
It's a huge reality check. And it goes to show that financial literacy is crucial no matter how much you earn. Because look what happened to them, right?
So it's about building a solid foundation, learning the rules of the game.
Yeah, building that foundation. And one of the, I think, most important parts of that foundation is understanding the difference between assets and liabilities.
This is one of my favorite parts of the book, actually.
Yeah.
It's so simple, but so powerful.
Right. He breaks it down so clearly. An asset puts money in your pocket.
And a liability takes money out.
Like a house. You think of your house as an asset, right?
Most people do. It feels like an asset, but
But Kiyosaki says it's actually a liability.
think about it. Mortgage payments, property taxes, insurance, repairs, it's constantly taking money out of your pocket.
I never thought about it that way.
It's all about perspective, shifting your mindset.
Okay, so if we want to break free from that, what did he call it?
The rat race.
The rat race, yeah. That cycle of working, earning, spending, more debt.
Always chasing that next paycheck.
We've got to think differently, right? And that's where I think this whole idea of overcoming fear comes in.
Fear can be paralyzing when it comes to money.
It really can. And Kiyosaki makes a great point about it. He compares it to public speaking. Some people, they're terrified to speak in front of a crowd.
It used to be like that.
But for others, it's exciting. It's an opportunity to share their ideas.
And it's the same with financial decisions.
Exactly. Some people are afraid to invest, afraid to start a business, afraid to take any risks.
They'd rather play it safe, even if it means staying stuck.
Right. And Kiyosaki even shares this personal story about turning down a high-paying job.
Oh, yeah, the one with the oil tanker company.
That's the one.
Mm-hmm.
He took a lower-paying job that offered more learning opportunities.
He was thinking long-term, building his skills.
Investing in himself, essentially. And, I think a lot of us could learn from that. Taking a step back and asking ourselves, what am I really learning here?
Am I growing? Am I expanding my horizons?
Exactly. And it doesn't have to be about quitting your job. It could be taking a course, joining a professional organization, reading a book, anything that helps you grow your knowledge and skills.
Yeah, like listening to this podcast.
Hey, there you go.
See? Always learning.
Always learning. Now, Kiyosaki talks about this idea of spotting opportunities that others miss. He uses the phrase, look with your mind, not just your eyes.
It's about seeing the potential, even when it's not obvious.
Like, he tells this crazy story about buying a house for, $45,000.
The one that was actually worth $60,000.
That's the one. He got such an incredible deal because he was prepared, he knew what to look for, and he acted fast.
The seller was desperate, and he was ready to pounce.
So it's not just about avoiding bad decisions, it's about actively seeking out good ones.
Being proactive, having a strategy.
Right.
You
And
know?
that takes courage. You got to be willing to take risks, to step outside that comfort zone.
But calculated risks, of course. It's not about being reckless.
No, it's about being informed, doing your research, understanding the potential downsides as well as the upsides.
And having a plan.
Yeah, a plan. Okay, so we've got the basics down, the mindset shift. Now what? What are the specific actions? What are the tools we need to escape this rat race? All right, so we've laid the groundwork. We've got that mindset shift.
We're thinking like the rich dad.
Exactly. But now let's get practical. What actions can we actually take? What are the tools we need to break free from that rat race for good?
Well, one of the things Kiyosaki stresses is this idea of working to learn, not just to earn.
Okay, so it's not all about chasing that big paycheck right out of the gate.
Right. It's about strategically choosing experiences that will build your skills, even if it means taking a lower salary in the beginning.
So like taking an internship at a company you admire, even if it pays peanuts.
Exactly. You're gaining valuable knowledge, making connections, building your resume. That's an investment in your future earning potential.
It's like playing the long game.
It is. And he talks about this distinction between your profession and your business. You might say, I'm a teacher or I'm a lawyer. That's your profession. But what's your business? What are you doing to build your asset column, to create income that goes beyond your job?
So even if you love your job, it's still crucial to be thinking about building assets, multiple income streams.
Multiple streams, that's the key.
Now, I think a lot of people get stuck here. They think, well, I don't have a ton of money to invest. How can I even get started?
And that's where Kiyosaki's story about the comic book library comes in.
Oh, yeah, the one he started as a kid?
Yep. He and his friend, they saw an opportunity. They didn't have a lot of capital.
They were just kids.
Right. But they had hustle, they were creative, and they turned a few comic books into a thriving little business.
It proves that you don't need a fortune to get started.
It's about resourcefulness. It's about looking for those opportunities that other people might miss. Look with your mind, not just your eyes.
Spot those diamonds in the rough.
Exactly. And it reminds me of that story about the rundown house that his friend bought.
Oh, the one everyone thought was a terrible deal.
That's the one. Turns out there were these extra lots included that nobody else even noticed.
And he ended up selling those for a huge profit.
He saw the value where others didn't. He thought outside the box.
Okay, so we got to train our minds to look for those hidden gems. But how do we overcome that fear? Those I don't wants that keep us playing it safe.
Well, he tells a great story about Colonel Sanders.
Wait, the Kentucky Fried Chicken guy?
The one and only. He faced over 1,000 rejections before he found success with his recipe.
Wow, 1,000.
He didn't let those no's stop him. He had a vision, and he kept pushing forward.
Oh, sometimes it's just about perseverance, huh?
A lot of times, yeah. It's about being willing to face rejection, to get comfortable with hearing no.
Because eventually that no might turn into a yes.
Exactly. And it's important to remember you don't have to do it all alone. Kiyosaki talks about building a strong team, finding mentors.
Surround yourself with people who can support you.
People who have already walked the path you want to walk.
Learn from their experiences, their successes, and their failures.
Right. Because everyone makes mistakes. It's part of the journey.
So we're working to learn, building our teams, facing our fears. What else does Kiyosaki say is crucial for financial success?
Well, this is one of his most famous pieces of advice, and it can be a little controversial.
Okay, hit me with it.
Pay yourself first.
Ooh, that one gets people fired up.
I know, right? But it's not about being selfish or neglecting your bills.
Because a lot of people hear that and they're like, wait, but rent is due.
Right. But it's about shifting your mindset. It's about making a conscious decision to prioritize your financial future before anything else.
So even if it's a small amount, put something into savings or investments before paying any other bills.
Exactly. And it's amazing how that small shift can create this positive pressure that forces you to be more creative, more resourceful with the rest of your income.
So it's like if you've already committed to putting $50 into your investment account every month, you're going to be more motivated to find ways to cut back on spending or maybe pick up a side hustle to make up for it.
That's it. He calls it working out your mental money muscles. The more you practice this habit of paying yourself first, the stronger and more disciplined you become financially.
Ooh, I like that. Mental money muscles. Okay, so we're building those muscles. We're paying ourselves first. We're on the lookout for opportunities. What else can we do to really level up our financial game?
He talks a lot about managing emotions, especially when it comes to investing.
Okay, yeah. Because it's easy to get caught up in the hype or panic when the market is volatile.
Exactly. He uses this analogy of a surfer riding the waves. A good surfer doesn't try to control the waves, they learn to ride them.
So when the market takes a dip, we don't want to freak out and sell everything off.
Right. Stay calm, assess the situation, and make decisions based on your overall strategy, not on fear or greed.
So it's all about being informed, having a plan, and sticking to it.
Sticking to it, even when things get rough. Because they will.
They always do. All right, so we're riding those waves, we're staying calm under pressure. What else does Kiyosaki have up his sleeve?
He's a huge advocate for continuous learning. He believes financial education is a lifelong pursuit,
There's always something new to learn, right? The world of finance is constantly changing.
constantly evolving.
Cool.
That's why he encourages people to read books, attend seminars, listen to podcasts like this one, find mentors.
And even be open to learning from people who might have different viewpoints than our own.
Absolutely. Kiyosaki himself talks about how he's learned valuable lessons from people he disagrees with,
It's about challenging our own assumptions, broadening our perspectives.
expanding those horizons. Now, I know he talks a lot about the importance of understanding financial statements.
Yeah, and that can be a little intimidating for people who don't have a background in finance.
It can seem overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. The key is to start with the basics. There are plenty of resources available to help you learn how to read and interpret those statements.
So it's like learning a new language, basically.
Exactly. It takes time and effort, but once you understand the language of finance, you're empowered to make more informed decisions about your money.
You're not just relying on someone else to tell you what's going on.
You're in control. Now, I know this could be a sensitive topic.
Okay, lay it on me.
Taxes.
Ah, yes, the T word.
Kiyosaki has some pretty strong views about taxes. He doesn't see them just as a burden.
More like a challenge to be overcome.
Exactly. He encourages readers to learn about the tax code, to find legal ways to minimize their tax liability.
So it's not about cheating the system.
Not at all. It's about understanding the rules of the game and using them to your advantage.
Working within the system to maximize your wealth.
Precisely. Now, this is an area where getting professional advice is crucial.
Yeah, a good tax advisor can be worth their weight in gold.
Absolutely. They can help you navigate the complexities of the tax code and find strategies that are both legal and ethical.
So we're learning about taxes, we're getting expert advice, we're becoming more financially savvy. What else can we do to really set ourselves up for success?
Kiyosaki talks about being an Indian giver. And I know that phrase can sound a little off-putting.
Yeah, it definitely needs some context.
In this case, he's talking about finding investments that give you something back beyond just a return on your money.
Oh, okay. So like what? Give me an example.
Well, let's say you invest in a property that comes with an extra lot of land that you can then sell for profit.
Oh, I see. So you're getting more than just your initial investment back.
Exactly. Or maybe you invest in a company that gives you stock options as part of the deal. It's about looking for those added benefits, those extra perks that sweeten the deal.
So it's about being creative, thinking outside the box.
Finding those win-win situations.
I like it. And it ties back to that idea of look with your mind, not just your eyes.
It all comes full circle. And remember, building wealth isn't just about accumulating money. It's about creating a life of freedom, abundance, and purpose.
Okay, I think we've covered a lot of ground here. We've talked about working to learn, paying yourself first, managing those emotions, continuous learning, understanding financial statements, navigating taxes, being an Indian giver, and so much more. It's a lot to process, but it's starting to make sense how all these pieces fit together.
We're building that solid financial foundation, brick by brick.
And it's a journey, right?
It is. And there will be bumps along the way.
Yeah.
But the key is to keep learning, keep growing, and keep striving toward your goals.
All right, so we're ready for the next leg of this journey. What's coming up in the final part of our deep dive?
We're going to tie all of these amazing insights back to you. We'll explore how to apply these principles to your unique situation and start creating the financial future you desire. How to actually put these ideas into action.
Exactly, because at the end of the day, Kiyosaki's book is a call to action, right? It's about empowering you, giving you the tools to take control of your financial future.
He doesn't want you just reading it and putting it on the shelf. He wants you to do something.
Right. And he's not afraid to challenge the status quo. Remember that line, don't play it safe, play it smart. It's a little bit of a wake-up call.
It is. It's a reminder that we can't just sit back and wait for things to happen. We have to be proactive.
We've got to create our own opportunities.
He challenges that traditional advice, the go to school, get a good job, work hard, and you'll be fine.
The safe path, which In today's world,
Might not be so safe after all.
exactly. Kiyosaki argues that we need to be more entrepreneurial, more financially savvy.
More adaptable to change,
And he really pushes back on that old saying, it takes money to make money.
which I think is a really limiting belief.
It is. It keeps people trapped, thinking they can't get ahead unless they already have a lot of capital.
But Kiyosaki believes anyone, regardless of their background, their current situation, can learn to create wealth.
It's about developing your financial intelligence, understanding the rules of the game, spotting those opportunities that others miss.
And that starts with a decision to take control of your finances, to educate yourself, to challenge those limiting beliefs.
So, for our listeners out there, how can they take action this week? What's one small step they can take today?
Start with something small. Maybe it's setting up a budget. Maybe it's reading a personal finance book. Maybe it's putting $50 into an investment account.
Any of those things would be a great start.
The key is to just take that first step and then another and another. It doesn't have to be this huge, overwhelming thing.
It's a journey. We're all learning and growing along the way.
And remember, there will be setbacks. There will be times when you make mistakes. But that's okay.
It's all part of the process.
It's how we learn. It's how we get stronger.
So don't be afraid to fail. Fail forward, as they say.
Embrace those challenges, learn from those mistakes, and keep moving forward. Find those financial heroes who inspire you. Study what they did. Adapt those strategies to your own life.
And build your team, your network. Find those people who can support you on this journey.
Celebrate each other's successes. Learn from each other's failures. We're all in this together.
Absolutely. So there you have it. We've explored Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the good, the bad, the controversial. We've challenged conventional wisdom. We've learned about assets and liabilities, escaping the rat race, and building a solid financial foundation.
It's been a wild ride.
It has, and hopefully our listeners feel empowered, motivated to take action and create the financial future they want.
Remember, it all starts with that first step. What will yours be?
That's all for our deep dive into Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time for another deep dive into the world of ideas.